But that said, there is something about humanizing your experience. So with coaching, this is not something AI. I think there's lots of opportunities, but I believe with AI, it is important that we still keep a human aspect to our lives, to our jobs, and to our businesses. So I think that's where a coach comes in, because AI isn't always correct, and AI doesn't have the feeling, the empathy, the emotion the way a person does. And AI can't support you in the way that you can receive the impact from a coach, any type of coach.
Welcome to Fit That Hustle. I'm your host, Mohammed Asper. Today we're talking to Andrea, a business coach with Action Coach Canada, who's helping busy dads and entrepreneurs transform chaos into clarity. From her days as a nurse to coaching CEOs, Andrea's story is proof that you can design a life where family and business thrive together. If you've ever felt stuck between work demand and family time, this episode is your game plan. Let's dive in. How can you turn your business from a source of stress into a tool for freedom? Andrea's got strategies that have helped hundreds of entrepreneurs, and they work for busy dads too. Staying hydrated is key to staying sharp, especially when you're hustling like Andrea. That's why I chose BioSteel for clean, sugar-free hydration. Use code MNYY1417 at checkout for up to 25% off. Let's fuel our hustle the right way. Andrea, welcome to Fit That Hustle. Your journey from nursing to business coaching is incredible. How did the pandemic and becoming a mom shift your priorities?
Hello, and thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Jumping right into it, I came from a family of entrepreneurs on both sides, my grandparents, my parents, aunts, uncles, cousins. So I had the exposure and the passion for a very long time since I was a young child, but I didn't really pursue it. I jumped right into the stereotypical roles of a female that I believed at the time. I was looking into teaching and nursing, and I got into that, at the beginning of my adulthood. And I fell in love with nursing, and I found it very rewarding. So I did continue in that role for quite a while. But when the pandemic hit, I had a few obstacles. I had my young child at home, and I also noticed a lot of disconnection, a lot of disorganization with healthcare, and a lot of fear, entered a lot of healthcare workers' minds. And I shared that with a lot of people, and that grew as we learned more about the lack of preparation that the healthcare industry, had in 2020. Up until that point, I felt extremely comfortable and confident in the healthcare system in Canada and worldwide, and the government as well, that everything would be taken care of, because in the past we've had small pandemics, right? Given the emphasis that this pandemic had on the world, it was much more large scale. It had a lot more impact, unfortunately. And what I realized was that we are probably going to have more pandemics. I just realized a lot. And I realized that the government healthcare, and they were just as scared as we were. And I realized that I was not stuck in a job that I felt scared in. I was not stuck in a job that I felt disrespected and unprotected. And I also was concerned about the health of my young child. Being under the age of 2, you're more vulnerable and susceptible to catching viruses and being at risk to not heal the way somebody in the general population would heal from something like that. So I started looking into options, and this is where business coaching comes in. I realized that I could find a job and start a business that was similar to nursing in terms of the rewarding aspect and the transformations that you can see and be a part of, but also work-life balance. I found that being a coach would be a healthier option for me, for my family, for my health, for my fitness level, for many different aspects of my life. So that's how I got into business coaching. And I have found that I can also spread that and share that. I can share that you can have a work-life family balance, and you can put emphasis on your own personal well-being and your physical health, as well as your mental health, your emotional well-being, and your family. And then you can share that with business owners and create a system where they can experience that too. And I thought that was a really great opportunity for me.
Great. And you're usually online or like at home, or you go in a workplace? What exactly?
So I'm a part of a firm, and that's in the GTA. So I have an office, but I also work from home. I would say over half of the time I work from home. I have an office locally, and then I can also work in co-working spaces for people that prefer that as well. So there's lots of options to meeting and communicating. And then we can also host events for a greater population in public spaces.
Okay. That's great. That's a great flexibility for you. And you mentioned that nursing during the pandemic highlighted gaps in business preparedness. How did that influence your coaching approach?
So the lack of preparation, the lack of organization was felt, was noticed, widespread, worldwide, globally. And I felt that many doctors, nurses, respiratory therapists, I mean, the list goes on in the healthcare industry. We all felt it. So when I found business coaching, I realized that there is structure and I can share that and I can encourage that, and that can create a healthier mindset for everybody. And I was attracted to the idea that there are systems in place. There is research behind creating organization and normalizing being comfortable and ready for.
Yeah. There's something called, especially for something urgent that happens, called risk management. Is that something that you guys have in place?
So you mean with nursing?
Whether it's nursing or in your business coaching, like this is just something that during pandemic as well, I saw that a lot of businesses also struggled and they didn't know what to do. And then there's limited companies, especially like big companies, that have this risk management. If there's anything that was at risk, there's a procedure or there's a process where they can follow in order to modify or make any changes that are needed. Is that something, if not that same label, is that something that you experienced or that you felt that something that's needed?
So although there have been contingency plans in place with healthcare and with business, it's not always the case in every healthcare facility and in every business. And that really is a management task, I believe, that isn't always fulfilled, unfortunately. There's a lot of time constraints. I'm sure that's a big part of it, but businesses generally grow and evolve and realize that if they want to create an asset that is something they can scale and sell potentially, or step out of and just hold a smaller role within the business but still own it, you do have to create, again, a contingency plan or a system, a book basically, that tells you all of the steps and all of the passwords, and something that can help if you hire a manager or you hire a CEO. You need a full contingency plan in place. And a lot of businesses, unfortunately, don't have that.
Yeah. And I think also depends on the scale of the business, like whether it's a small business or a big business, medium business sometimes as well, right?
For sure. So, I mean, this can apply to all business types, whether it be service-based, product-based. This can apply to Canada. This can apply to the UK. It can apply to any type of business. It is a choice, owner, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring, and you want to protect your asset that you're building. Whether it's small, it's still an asset, right?
Yeah.
And if you create something, you have basically a game plan and it's all written out. You have just created a more valuable asset. because now somebody else can take over your clientele. Somebody else can take over your systems that you have in place, like your email, your marketing, or computer programming, your blog, anything, whatever you use, all your social media, everything.
Yeah.
Somebody can take over and support that because, there's lots of opportunities to bring people in, whether it's, a contract position or hire extra help and gain extra clientele or gain extra customers, depending on, again, the business type. And this will definitely facilitate a much more organized workspace for that individual. And the transition is much more simple and smooth. So it definitely is worth creating.
Great. Now, I'm sure you've probably dealt with some busy dads. So what's the biggest misconception busy dads have about running a business?
Right. So a lot of people start a business to get freedom and get more profits and more money and more financial freedom, right? But unfortunately, people end up investing a lot more time than they expect. Some people are doing, 50 hours a week. Some people are doing 60, 70-hour weeks. So this is actually taking away from your physical health, your mental health, your family health, well-being, your children, your relationship with your significant other, and your general family life, your time that you could spend doing quality activities and spending quality time. So I believe that I definitely believe that it can help getting a business coach, because you can get somebody to break down your needs, educate you, someone in your blind spot, someone that speeds up the efficiency in your business, and somebody that basically can educate and go through all the systems. And these are actionable systems and strategies that we have, and they're proven. So this can help somebody free up their time again, and free up time not only for their family, but also for their health and for time spent on their own hobbies and their own time to go to the gym or just be active, whatever that means to you. That could be walking, that could be yoga at home, that could be the treadmill. Ultimately, this is more your role with being active and building muscle, because there's so many benefits to that. But ultimately, you have to have endorphins, to sleep better, have more energy, more motivation, more confidence to generate customers, clientele, to approach situations that, are beneficial for your business. And it's an overall holistic approach. So you definitely have to tackle all areas in your life to be successful in your business.
That's true. I agree. I totally understand and agree with what you're saying. Now, you often talk about time, profits, and team as the three main challenges for entrepreneurs. Can you break that down for us?
For sure. So we have noticed across the board, worldwide, that time, team, and profits are, in fact, the commonalities and the issues in all businesses. So with time, we've covered a little bit about it, but ultimately, time is a huge problem with business owners. A lot of people don't realize how much time they do have to put into their business to get it off its feet and to grow. So that's where we come in, and we help free up time, create, like I said before, efficiency in the business, create systems, and get the business running more like a well-oiled machine. So essentially running repeatedly, effortlessly, to be more successful and create more profits. And that takes us into, the money aspect of a lot of businesses. Simply put, a lot of businesses are finding they don't get enough profits. Maybe the revenue is generated, but maybe the profits are not as beneficial as, one would expect when they start a business. So we have many ways to break that down and look at how we can work on areas in the business. So we call it 5 ways And basically, one example would be leads. Leads is one area. We break it down into several steps that I can't even mention all of the strategies and tools we have, but just that area alone in the leads, we can break down many strategies that can grow your profits. And there are so many other ways that will lead to, it's essentially a formula with 5 ways that you can break down and work on your key performance indicators. These are numbers that we can change. They're changeable. They're not fixed. And a lot of people think they're fixed. They're not. We can work on that with a formula, with strategies and tools that we implement. And these are proven, again, worldwide. And these have been proven for 30 years. Of course, the system is evolving, constantly gaining new research and updating itself. But essentially, I work with this global coaching company that has a data system in place. And it's something that we all use when we're a part of the business. And we use all these tools to essentially build up micro parts of the business until we can grow the profit. And profit can grow, and there are many strategies that we can use to change your profit. So again, it's not fixed. Don't feel like you're stuck, because you're not. And then we've covered time and profits. The last one would be team. Team is also a huge issue with businesses. Of course, as a solopreneur, you don't have a team necessarily. You might have a VA, which is a virtual assistant, or you might have contracted positions for people. You just need help certain times of the year. And then some people don't have help, but could use it. Right? So medium-sized businesses, of course, might have some employees, and then larger scale companies would have not only employees, but also management. So with team, there is a lot that can change to create efficiency in a business. There are various areas we could touch on, but basically, just to give a few examples, morale is one. The morale of a company. If the team is down, the team doesn't feel confident, there's a miscommunication, they're not feeling management is lifting them up or making them confident, there isn't a lot of motivation or inspiration, they're not feeling appreciated. There's so many areas that we can look at with team that a lot of management don't even realize are there. So we dig deep into that, and we create a healthier team and system so that the business can run and grow more smoothly. And of course, your team can make or break your company. So that is definitely an important part. And unfortunately, there are a lot of misconceptions about these areas. And unfortunately, it's difficult, to run a business and then to know everything about the business side, because in high school there isn't a lot of emphasis on business. A lot of it is get a job. A lot of teachers encourage get a job. And that's what our society has focused on. So we dig deep into all the areas that the average business owner doesn't really have knowledge on. And we support and facilitate that growth.
So basically, you've added a lot of information, which is great. So basically, you've shown us that dads can avoid the trap of doing it all, and this is a way of delegating effectively, right? We're contracting, VA, your company that you work with, the coaching can provide so much value to be able to provide them multiple solutions. Like you said, it's not like A plus B equals C. We can always find something that can work for your business. And not every business works the same way, but they still, profit and they still do well. And then we have to understand that a business is not gonna do well at the beginning, okay? And sometimes it's up and down, like you see in the pandemic, right? Like the heart rate, that is always going up and down, up and down. The business is not always gonna be like profiting every single day, every month. You're going to have your downtime too. And that's where you come in with your experience, and then say, you know what, well, this is the season where we can, for example, do this or do that, and that's what I think that a lot of people can be open to. And at the same time, the delegation is, hey, there are options. I don't need to do everything. Like, see, for me, for example, okay, I have this business. There are things that I do myself, and I do have a freelancer, that does something that I feel that I need him to do it. Okay. And that's, I think, is there anything that would you like to add on that, or is that something that we've covered?
For sure. So solopreneurs particularly, like to be the bottleneck, whether they know they are or not. They're the bottleneck of the business, right? So if you're looking at all the tasks, if you're doing it all, you don't give opportunity for major growth because you're not working on the major tasks that will generate the most revenue, the most profits.
Yeah.
We're looking at the monotonous day-to-day tasks that we can actually delegate to other individuals easily. And contracting is a great option because you don't have to pay someone a full-time salary or
it's a per job. It's like a per job, and that's it.
Exactly. So it works for a lot of people because, again, there are people that want a side position so they can help you out, or they're a freelancer and they do this for multiple businesses, and that's their entire income is helping other businesses. I do find it can help once you become more open to the idea of contracting someone in. And I mean, if you're at the place where you're ready to hire someone full time, I mean, that's helpful too, because now you can step out of the business and work on it instead of in it. And that is a huge revenue generator when you're working on the bigger tasks that you can't really pay someone else necessarily to do on the day-to-day, and it frees up your time as well. So bringing people in definitely gives you more flexibility, but also room to grow.
Awesome. Now, I don't know if this is something that you touch on or not, but with your experience and you being in the business, what role does AI and digital marketing play in scaling a business without burnout?
Definitely. So there are lots of options with AI. So many. I mean, again, today we can't touch on all of them, of course, but there are video generating AI systems now. There are voice generating AI systems. So this can help with advertisement, marketing. There are article producing, blog producing AIs. You can get a breakdown for your caption under your photo or under your video much more efficiently now. So you can batch at a much faster rate. Because if, let's say you want to, just as an example, post, let's say 3 times a week, you want to post on your Instagram or your Facebook. So now what you can do is get the write-up from AI and put it right under your photo. So you can batch your whole month in one day. You have saved yourself so much time. Of course, this helps the VAs as well, because now they can get way more clients.
Exactly.
So that helps them, but there's definitely other areas you can generate clients through AI systems. You can basically paint your perfect client, right? You can put every detail in of your perfect client and then generate your leads. You can fill up your calendar. So there are various options. I mean, opportunity is definitely out there with AI. But that said, there is something about humanizing your experience. So with coaching, this is not something AI. I think there's lots of opportunities, but I believe with AI, it is important that we still keep a human aspect to our lives, to our jobs, and to our businesses. So I think that's where a coach comes in, because AI isn't always correct, and AI doesn't have the feeling, the empathy, the emotion the way a person does. And AI can't support you in the way that you can receive the impact from a coach, any type of coach.
Human touch is always a must. We can use AI but not necessarily for every little aspect of the business. We can use it as a leverage as well. Exactly. In your coaching experience, have you noticed difference in energy level, focus, or productivity of clients who prioritize fitness compared to those who don't? How does a consistent fitness routine impact their ability to tackle business challenges?
So definitely, if you aren't active, you aren't sleeping, you aren't getting the sleep that you need, you're not as present, your concentration is down, your mood is down. There are so many areas that fitness can help within a business, and so many clients will tell you they feel better and more productive when they are moving, when they are consistently creating a routine that is fit into their schedule with their business. They feel more motivation, and this creates more confidence as well, and more benefits with meeting clients, and you have more to give when you're active. And another thing is you're more conscious of your diet and your water consumption when you're working out. In my opinion, I feel that helps with productivity in business as well.
Yeah, I've seen with many busy dads that their transformation and fitness with their business lives. I've experienced it myself with them that physically strong, you're also mentally resilient, and it fuels both your hustle and your family time. So it's definitely the fitness, not necessarily meaning like you got to hit it hard in the gym and all that. Everyone's level of fitness is different. It could be just walking your dog or anything like that.
For sure. And the endorphins.
Exactly. How do you tailor your coaching for dads who feel stressed between work and family?
So there's definitely options in terms of how often you meet. I like to meet with my clients bi-weekly. The reason behind this is because they have more time to implement strategies, and then they also have more time and flexibility to put their time back into building their personal system, I like to say, but their holistic approach to their life. So I don't believe in putting, 10 hours into coaching a month. I think that you can benefit greatly from just putting 2 hours a month into coaching and getting that motivation, getting that accountability partner and education to build up your business, but also to learn strategies on how to free up your time. And then that time can go back into your family life, and being conscious of that and actively making sure you put more time into shutting down earlier in the day, because after a certain amount of hours, you're not benefiting your business anyways.
Yeah.
You need a break. And when you balance your lifestyle, your business is rewarded from that.
Yeah.
You have more to give.
Definitely. What's one habit every dad entrepreneur should adopt today?
I would say writing down your goals, because it's statistically far more likely to happen if you do an alignment with a coach. If you do a business plan formally, statistically in the past, if you do this formal write-up and you actually put it down on paper, we're putting it in the computer, but same idea. If you're actually putting the time into generating your goals and thinking about it and digging deep, and essentially you're documenting it, this is far more likely to produce that success and to come closer to reaching your goals and your vision. And we recommend doing this annually.
Tell us more about Action Coach Canada and how it's helping entrepreneurs.
Yes, absolutely. So Action Coach Canada was founded in, I believe, Australia about 30 years ago, and it has since then grown to about 84 countries and continuously growing right now. It basically started with one CEO and founder named Brad Sugars, and you can look him up. He's still a coach to this day. He created this entire database and shared it with all of his coaches who work within the company, and essentially He's used these systems for all his businesses. He's had several businesses and he has tested everything out himself and then shared it with the world. It's a pretty incredible and inspiring story. And he definitely, inspires everyone within Action Coach. So basically, it was tested 30 years ago and continued throughout the past 30 years. And we have now worked with large scale companies like Disney and NHL teams, as well as, smaller companies, lots of solarpreneurs and real estate, pharmaceuticals, construction, trades. So again, small and large businesses, we can touch on anything, and we have systems in place for any type of business, which is incredible, really. And it's again proven worldwide. And is coached for about 4 to 5 years, and then they can become free, whether it's that they're stepping out of the business, they're still remaining the owner, but they don't want to be involved in it, or it could be that they want to sell it. And another option is also just to create efficiency and create more profits and more time while staying a present part of the business. So it's definitely helped different businesses for different reasons, and a lot of people can't go without a coach. Some people have one forever, which is incredible. They need that support. They need that accountability partner.
That's amazing. I'm sure you've been working on a lot of projects. Now, what's one project you're mostly excited about right now?
So I have a little project in the works that is not so little, but it's little when it starts out, right? And then you progressively grow it. But we do work on basically creating presentations for the public. I really do want to spread the word to all public and show them what they can do, because there is a lot of misconceptions about business, and I think that younger people need to learn more about business acquisition and also starting a business. And one way that I am planning to do this is by donating business coaching hours to the community. So for example, $100,000 of business coaching donated to the community to help businesses get off their feet, start growing more, depending on the stage of the business, right? Contribute some time and help some businesses out that are struggling. And I think that this will be in the next year, but it takes time. And of course, we have to plan everything out a certain way. So I'm looking forward to impacting the community more.
That's awesome. Great. And where can listeners learn more about your work and connect with you?
So I have LinkedIn, Andrea Phillips, and you'll see that Action Coach is right below that. I also have my website on LinkedIn.
You'll be sharing that with me. I'll put them in the show notes in the description, and our listeners can contact you much easier in that way as well. And what's your vision for helping more dads achieve their freedom through business coaching?
So statistically speaking, most business owners are still male, although the female business world is definitely growing, especially in the last, 5-6 years. Predominantly, the business owner is male still. So a lot of these are dads or grandfathers, right? So with that, I definitely want to make them aware that it is possible to gain your time back, to get time freedom, that time and profits, time and money is abundant, and it is possible. It's not a dream. It's reality, and it's proven with this company. It's been proven for 30 years. It's actually incredible what is possible if you get the right help.
That's awesome. As a mom and coach, how do you model work-life balance for your own kids?
So I've said from day one that, my children come first, and I have one child right now. I'm hoping that I'm able to have more in the future, but I definitely prioritize my time as a mom, The small things are so important. Picking up your child from school, taking them to school, being at their sports, encouraging them to be active as well and to be part of a team. I think that's so important, but also being there and showing up and having them remember, that your mom, your dad, they were at your games. They remember that. These are small things, but they're actually very big. So I definitely create a time schedule that allows for that and I create a priority with my child for sure.
That's amazing. I agree. That's what I do as well for my kids. What legacy do you hope to leave through your coaching?
So I definitely want to flip the script and make people, not just people, but people in the community and kids. I've thought a lot about this as well, spreading the word in high schools that business is really rewarding and it is possible, and you don't have to just go get a 9-to-5 and get a salary or an hourly position, that you can acquire businesses. There are ways to do this. There's so much out there that most people don't even know about. So I definitely want to create a more easily access this awareness, but also create a more easy system for people to understand that they can actually do something different and step off the beaten path, and definitely encourage the belief in financial and time abundance. A lot of people don't believe in it, but it is real, it is possible, it is obtainable.
Yeah, I agree. And it's great that you want to basically go reach out to the youth, get them started at a young age, and maybe, start building something before they even, hit college. And that's great. It's awesome stuff.
I do find that there isn't enough education or emphasis on that right now, currently.
I agree with you. Thank you, Andrea, for sharing your insights and passion today. Your work is proving that success and family time aren't mutually exclusive. If Andrea can turn business chaos into clarity, imagine what you can achieve when you combine smart business strategies with a solid fitness routine. Whether you're a dad ready to simplify your business or entrepreneur craving freedom, your physical well-being is the foundation for peak performance. Ready to level up both your business and your fitness game? Book a free strategy call with me today, and let's create a plan that gives you back your time, energy, and confidence. Your business shouldn't control you, and neither should your health. Don't forget to check out Andrea's coaching website or via the show notes. And a huge thanks to BioSteel for powering this episode. Use code MNYY1417 for up to 25% off, because hydration fuels both hustle and family. Like, subscribe, and share this episode with a dad or entrepreneur who needs to hear this. Until next time, stay innovative, stay balanced, and keep hustling.